So breaking news, well, not breaking news, but it's a rumor. So if the 49ers cannot sign or trade for Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers stud wide receiver. You guys know who Antonio Brown is. In my opinion, he's the best. He will go down as a Hall of Famer, and he is probably, he is, in my opinion, the best receiver in the whole entire NFL. So rumor broke yesterday. I follow a lot of Niners pages, and that's sometimes where stuff will pop up, and that's sometimes where I'll make these videos and talk about, that's how I get some of my news to make a video about it to inform you guys. But a lot of times it's just Rappaport, Matt Miyoko, people like that. But anyways, report comes out that says if the 49ers cannot end up getting, Antonio Brown in a trade and acquire him in a trade, that they'll be wanting to, they'd be interested in trading for Broncos wide receiver Broncos receiver Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders is a top-notch receiver in the game, and he would be a major help to this team. And he wouldn't be as expensive either if we didn't end up, if we got Antonio Brown would probably be expensive. But with Emmanuel Sanders, he's very talented, probably a top 7, 8 wide receiver in the whole NFL. And not only that, but Emmanuel Sanders would cost less, and we get a stud receiver out of it. So that's just the news, that if Antonio Brown cannot get traded to the San Francisco 49ers, if we don't end up going out and trying to get, Antonio Brown, basically that we could end up with Demaryius Thomas. We could end up with Emmanuel Sanders in a trade, and they're talking about that it could happen on draft day if it were to happen. So if the 49ers do not get Antonio Brown, don't stress it, because we possibly could be interested in acquiring Emmanuel Sanders, because he showed sometimes that he wasn't as happy in Denver as majority of their players, but we'll see what happens. But as of right now, if the 49ers cannot end up landing Antonio Brown in a trade, Broncos wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders could be in the mix for the 49ers to go after next. So I feel like it could happen, because I could see Emmanuel Sanders in San Francisco. It's just about if Antonio Brown does not end up with us, we would be interested in trading for Emmanuel Sanders. So Emmanuel Sanders, like I said, he would be cheaper than Antonio Brown would, but Antonio Brown's obviously more talented. Emmanuel Sanders has dealt with injuries in his career. And Antonio Brown's 9-year career, he's only had, he's only missed less than 5 regular season games. So this could be a big help to this Niners team if we get Antonio Brown. But at the same time, if we get Emmanuel Sanders, that would be just as big of a help too. So yeah, Antonio Brown's more talented. Yeah, Antonio Brown would make a bigger impact to this team. But if you think about it, we're getting one of our needs either way. If we end up trading, if we don't get Antonio Brown, we get Emmanuel Sanders. For one, we still got a stud receiver. We got one of the best in the game. Not only that, but it filled a need that this team is going to have to address this offseason. So if the 49ers do not end up trading for Antonio Brown and getting Antonio Brown in a trade, they'll be highly interested in signing and trading for Broncos wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. So we'll see what happens, but let me know what you guys think. Would you want to have Emmanuel Sanders on the team if we cannot, trade for Antonio Brown? Or would you rather, sign somebody else or trade for somebody else, a different receiver? But I think Emmanuel Sanders is a stud. He has good hands. He's good at route running. He's very quick. So I think this could work out. But with that being said, my dog's barking. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.